actually, this is as real as it gets.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
You're listening to UCW Radio. In your face.
Alright, welcome to the UCW Radio Show. I'm your host, Louis Velazquez, and today we have a very special guest that will be on the show. I'm honored to have him on the show. He is, without a doubt, the envy of most photographers, as he has the unique opportunity to work with some of the most popular television shows on the air right now from Fox Broadcasting, including the extremely popular 24 series. So you're going to want to hear what he has to say. But he has done work with Warner Brothers, NBC Universal, Lifetime Television, ABC, and the list goes on and on and on and on. I mean, his work speaks for itself. Trust me, you'll find his story not only interesting, but inspirational. And his name is Kelsey McNeal. And he's one of the humblest people that I know. But before we bring Kelsey on the show, I need to go over a few things. I need to let you know that the UCW Magazine online edition will be available on March 1st, 2010 for download or just for online viewing. We will have articles, profiles, pictures, and other information, other things that'll be in there. It's basically an extension of the UCW radio show, so I'm sure that you're going to find it very interesting. I also want to talk about the latest project to hit the scene, and that's called Weapon. It's a new reality series that's being casted as we speak. The cast, and actually one person was casted already. That's Melissa Traynor, and she's already gearing up to be part of the show. But there are 13 other women that have to be casted, so it'll take some time. But the cast will consist of 14 women, and all will be competing in and actually learning about acting, modeling, filmmaking, martial arts, action film fighting, stunt work, photography, etiquette, and believe it or not, casting and business management. So this is a reality series that is not about Real Housewives from New Jersey or New York or Orange County. It's not about a Bachelor or The Rock of Love or This Love or Bad Girls Need Love or all that other stuff. It's not even about Guidos from the Jersey Shore. Oh my God. Anyway, it's about real people who are being developed to be well-rounded entertainers, to actually have a fighting chance in Hollywood, and they will with Weapon, and they will become a staple member of Weapon. Now, before you ask, I'm sure a lot of the listeners are like, well, what's Weapon? What is this? Well, just to tell you in short, it's more than a reality show. It's everything from a comic book series and an animation project to a film series to action figures. There are a lot of things involved here. It is a true franchise. So if you look at any franchise that's out there, it's going to be the same type of thing. So you're going to be able to see and have the opportunity to see the stars of Weapon before they're stars. So it's a unique thing. And for women who think that they have what it takes to be a part of this great project, just go to weapontheseries.com. You can apply there, get more information, and try to be a part of this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for women between the ages of 18 and 40. And again, you have the opportunity to actually get involved. Now, on that note, we have to take a little break. So let's hear the smooth sound of UK recording artist Tara London, and we'll be back with you in just a little bit.
Thought that I had something to say, seems so out of place, drenched in cool reserve. Such an English way. I'm the fool, I know. If I let this go, but it's bitter, so bittersweet, bittersweet, baby. Love ensnares the heart, but can wrap the mind. It can turn a man's head, but then leave his soul blind. A perfect life made for you and I wasn't built to last, but I can't let it die. Bitter, oh, bitter, sweet, oh, bittersweet, baby. Loving you, loving you. Ooh, baby, bittersweet, it's bittersweet. Loving you, loving you. Ooh, baby, it's bittersweet. Loving you, baby, it's bittersweet. Bitter, loving you.
The odds of becoming a signed artist and having 3 #1 albums? 1 in 100 million. The odds of going on to win 6 Grammy Awards? 1 in 1.4 million. And the odds of this performer having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 150. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Autism Speaks. It's time to listen.
Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
This is Phoebe Price, and you're listening to the UCW Radio Show. In your face.
Okay, we're back, and I was just alerted that we have the great photographer, Kelsey McNeal. He is actually waiting on the line. I don't want to get in depth with anything further. I don't want to have him waiting because I know he's has a lot of things going on today, and he actually took the time out for me, and this is something that we had to schedule out for a little bit. But now he's here, so I don't want to have him wait any longer. Without further ado, here is Kelsey McNeal. All right, we have Kelsey McNeal here with us. Kelsey, thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Actually, it is our pleasure because it's rare that we get someone of your stature. You know, you're a photographer, but you're not just any photographer. You're not like working in Sears taking family portraits or anything. but you do high end stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do. It's definitely not Sears that I do.
Yeah, you're actually, you work, you're working for 24 right now, right?
Yeah, Fox is one of my clients, and I shoot a lot of the set photography on the show. I also do some of the props photography too, some of the images that actually appear on screen. and some of the work that appears there. I shoot some of that stuff for them as well, but I shoot a lot of the advertising and publicity images for that show 24.
So the posters that we see and the stuff that we see around, all the advertisements, the big billboards and stuff, that's your work.
Yeah, a lot of it. Not less of the billboard stuff, more of the print work that you see in magazines.
Okay, so the magazines and the stuff that you may see in in one of those bus shelters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
24.
Yeah, and all the stuff you see like in the trade magazines. Sometimes it's in Time magazine or in the newspaper. Whenever they're promoting the show or talking about the show, usually it's something that I've shot.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool. It must be exciting, though.
It is. It is a lot of fun. It's a great show to work on. It's really got a great crew, and it's the DP and just the way it's lit and the way it looks. It's fabulous. And so it's been great for me getting a lot of exposure, because I get a lot of print from that show. And so yeah, it's been a really good experience. Unfortunately, I think it's probably close to the end of the series, but it's been a good run, and I've been very, very fortunate to be the one to get to have that experience and to get to do that job.
Yeah, that right there is like, wow,
Yeah.
Just to be around a project like that, because, I mean, this is, I forget, I don't know how many seasons 24 has been, running for. It seems like
we're in our 8th season now.
8th season. So how long have you been with the show?
I've been on the show for the last 3 or 4 seasons. I don't remember exactly, but, I was there. When we went to D.C., I went to D.C. with them. We've been to South Africa. I went there with them for 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Shot the prequel.
It's a long trip, by the way, to South Africa.
It's a long trip.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, actually, coming
it
from
was painful.
Yeah, because you were coming from California, so to go over there, I've been to Africa myself, so it's it's a long trip.
Yeah, it was quite a ways. But what a wonderful place. I mean, I would love to go back there. I would make that journey again, as painful as it was. Because South Africa was just the people and beauty, the sunlight there. The sun was different because you're so low, so far from the equator and south of the equator makes a difference too. And it was beautiful, and the smile on the kids. Like you think South Africa or Africa, and you think all the pictures that that are most prolific from there, and
It's stuff that you see in National Geographic.
Yeah, exactly. But when you get there, and there is that element. But the thing that really stuck with me was how authentically happy and proud the people there are, and just the smiles on the kids' faces it was so warming. Something really special about that place.
It left you
really
with
special.
a warm feeling inside.
Yeah, it really does.
The thing is, I guess when you see people that are genuinely happy with their lives, it's maybe it's a rarity. I don't know. It makes it an anomaly, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, and maybe they just don't know what they're missing. I mean, that could be a huge part of it. I mean, maybe we know a little bit too much of what we don't have.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people you have the access in the United States anyway. You have access, even in Europe, you have access, and people take for granted what they have.
Yeah.
So maybe a simple life, gives you a different vision. Just like a child, they don't know any better.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because every time I come back from Europe, that's one of my first thoughts is, what is all this stuff? It's like I can't believe I have all this stuff.
Yeah.
All the stuff that I've accumulated over the years, and I definitely am not a pack rat. I'm one of those people who, I'll go through my stuff periodically, and if I haven't used it in a while, or if it's old memories or something that I'm not, or I try to detach myself from stuff and get rid of things just because I don't like to store a bunch of things. I like to have open space because open space to me is possibility. Like, instead of having something from 15 years that doesn't really mean anything to me on my desktop, I can have an open space and something new can come there.
Right.
You know, so I try to keep my life clutter free, but I still feel like I have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, you know, the thing is, you do, and I think we all do, and we have this. Again, I think we all take it for granted until we see something different. You know, as I told you, I've been to Africa, so I've seen, you know, the ghetto over there, and it makes you appreciate what you have here.
Right.
You know, not that I want to go back to where I went, but you know, but you know, it makes you appreciate it. Now, Kelsey, let me ask you something. With photography, because I'm not a photographer. I do take pictures of my cell phone. That's about it. You know, but you've been doing this for a little while.
Yeah.
You know, what was it, your father introduced you to photography, right?
Yeah. Funny enough, you know, photography's been in my life for as far back as I can remember. But it was always, you know, it was always something that was fun and that I enjoyed doing. And, you know, I did it with my father. You know, I'm the youngest of 6 kids, and so all my brothers and sisters went through a phase of being a photographer. You know, just taking classes in high school, if it were, in college. And I remember being around them shooting a lot of stuff, and, you know, watching them shoot, helping them shoot things, you know, helping them as far as carrying equipment or being a subject. You know, I used to spend the summers down here in LA before I lived here with my grandfather. And I remember at that point, even one of my aunts was going through a phase of photography, and I used to do a lot of stuff with her. It wasn't until you know, I was there was a point in my life when I had another career, and I wanted to move away from that and into something else, and I didn't know what that was. And I spent months just kind of, you know, traveling the world and walking around, you know, just traveling the world by foot quite a bit. Okay. Just getting street side and just walking around and seeing what there was to do and people watching, and all the time I would have a camera with me. You know, so here I am walking around, you know, with this camera in my hand, thinking, you know, what do I want to do with my life? You know, click, click, click. What are my passions? Click, click, click. You know, I'm taking pictures and I'm asking myself these questions. and honestly, and embarrassingly enough, that went on for probably a few months before I actually realized what I was doing. You know, I was out spending my days doing something that I was passionate about, photography, and something that I enjoyed doing. You know, for months before I realized that I had talent at it, and that I could actually turn it into a profession. Right.
Well, you were walking around with your eyes wide shut. That's basically what it was.
Exactly. And then also, what was also very comforting was soon after I had made that decision that I was going to pursue photography, or I realized that. My father tragically passed away.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was tragic, but, you know, as far as death go, I think it was a beautiful death, and I'm fortunate that it happened the way that it happened. But one of the things that transpired after his death is, you know, we were going through a lot of my father's belongings and possessions, and found this old slide reel. You remember slide projectors?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You remember the tray, that like donut shaped tray with all the little slots that slides would go in?
Yeah, you know we're aging ourselves, right?
I know. That's why I have to ask if you remember.
I remember. I remember having that in school and everything. Having that in your house and spinning it around.
And you would project it just on any white wall in your house somewhere, right? So,
and it was that noise. It was
yeah, and the fan going, yeah. So we came across a bunch of boxes of these slides. And they're reels, and we were projecting them on a wall in the house afterwards.
Right.
And first of all, just, you know, these pictures were from my father, that my father had probably shot 50 years prior to we were watching them. And it was, you know, he was in the war. He was in the army, you know, he was a medic in the army. Oh, wow. And so it was a lot of stuff from the war. And it was, I mean, the photos were, the colors, the way that they popped, everything they were amazing. It was beautiful. we were going through these images, and I just felt something so warm and comfortable about them. And then I started to realize is that my father and I share the same eye. It's like a lot of the stuff that he was shooting was just like stuff that I shoot. Right. And I hadn't even realized that. And man, that was a great realization. That was a great realization. My father he was an awesome man, and unfortunately, when he was alive, I didn't feel as connected to him as I would have liked to, but I definitely feel more connected to him now than ever.
Well, I think sometimes, we go through our day, our lives, we kind of forget, or we don't allow ourselves to see what's around us.
Right.
And fortunately for you, at least you found that connection. So, your father is actually, he's still present in your life right now more than ever.
Right. Yeah.
Because look at you're pursuing your career, your passion. It's not a lot of people have the opportunity to do something they love to do and earn a living doing it.
That's true. Yeah. It's so tragically true. I feel very fortunate that, I can not only just support my family and myself, with something that I'm passionate about, but that I can do something that I'm passionate about, to support my family. It goes both ways for me. I just wouldn't know how to live any other way.
Well, again, at least you're fortunate that you came to the realization and everything just clicked for you. Sometimes things just happen at that moment. Like, wow, the realization comes, okay, well, this is what I'm supposed to do, and all the other stuff was just getting by.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're in a good position. That's great. Now, talking about family, I know that you have 2.5 kids now.
Right, 2.5. Well, a bun in the oven.
A bun in the oven, I know. And actually, I was telling your wife, I said, every time that she gets pregnant, something good happens.
It's...
and just so you know, and I don't know if she told you this, but you bring it up to her. Before she got pregnant, I told her that. I said, every time you get pregnant, something good happens. She's like, Lou, this and that. I said, I'm just seeing what's in front of me. And what was it? About a month later, she said, "Guess what?"
Right. You know what? That's really funny that you say that because I have had some of those same experiences. In fact, I think 24 came around right after my son was born.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that 24 was really what helped take me to the next step as a photographer.
Oh, I have no doubt about that.
Get on that show, yeah.
Yeah, because to be a part of that show, you have to, and this is what I have to stress to people that are listening to the show right now, that you have to be extremely good at what you do.
Well,
and I know that you are going to be very humble.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that you're good at what you do. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
I guess I do have certain skills or talents doing it. I always feel like if I were to put myself on a line chart and of the stuff I've learned behind me and the stuff there is to learn in front of me, that I'm much further to the left.
Right.
Of course. There's so many things to learn, and I think I'm always looking forward. So I don't necessarily appreciate what I have learned and where I am, but
you know something, how you deal with it is probably the best way, because I feel that when you're good at something and you acknowledge this, you tend to generate an ego, right? And that kind of blocks you from actually fulfilling what your true destiny is,
right?
And to getting where you need to be. So actually, you're handling it the right way.
Yeah, I think that's part of my fear is thinking that I'm good too. Is that you become stagnant, that you stop growing.
Yeah.
And man, without that growth, I don't know what you're doing then.
Then you hit that brick, that ceiling, and Where are you going to go?
Right.
You don't need to do that. Again, you let other people say how good you are. I'm just saying that you're good, and we'll just leave it at that, and then we move forward.
I'll accept that as much as I possibly can.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Kelsey, let me ask you a question. When you, being a photographer, obviously, beyond 24, you've actually been a part of various events, concerts, this and that. Can you tell us a few of the shoots that you've done?
You mean related to 24 or?
Oh, no, beyond 24, just stuff that you've done, because obviously being a photographer, you get your little photographer pass and you can go to the back of concerts and
Oh, right. I haven't done too many concerts. A lot of my stuff has been around TV. But some of the other fun shows that I really enjoy shooting too, have been shows, another Fox show, So You Think You Can Dance, which has been a lot of fun. And I know that a lot of people look at how, apparently kind of cheesy that show is, a reality show, and it's a bunch of kids dancing. But it's a lot of fun, because what happens is that we go around the country. I don't get to go to all the cities, but I do go to some of them and select the kids, and thousands of kids will come out for it. For the shows. And so, we'll cover them, in the audience, and then they're auditioning and everything. And while this is happening, you kind of get to know some of them. And over the years of doing that show, I've kind of learned to be able to pick out the talent, in the dancers, and see, and kind of tell who's going to progress further and who's not. And so that's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun doing that journey. Also, working with the dancers, dancers, athletes and dancers are a lot of fun to work with, to shoot. I find, a lot of the energy. I love the energy, and I love when people are passionate about what they do, like athletes are and dancers, or performers. It brings out a whole another element in the photo, and it makes a shoot a lot of fun and very interesting. But also, I will cover the shows for them when they're here in town and in production, and they have a lot of live guests on the show. So that's been a lot of fun shooting various people. Fergie's been on the show, and well, I can't even think of a lot of the names of the people that have been on it. But there's been a lot of talent on these shows, and that's been a lot of fun covering them too. And as well as working on Dancing with the Stars is another dance show that I've covered, and working with those professional dancers, and that's been a great experience as well.
But those are the perks when you work with the different shows, But you mentioned something earlier about the energy. It must be amazing being in an environment where you have not 10, 20 people, you have thousands, right? That are auditioning to be on a particular show, and you're just there like, wow. You have to be wow, because I would be wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, these people come out and they're in line, and they sometimes they camp out overnight to wait in line to get I mean, literally, it's like they get like a minute and a half in front of the judges to do their thing in the show, rather than not they're going to go on to the next step. So yeah, the energy of that is great. And then also just in the production of these shows, both shows have the performance nights are live. They're broadcasted live, and so just being on a show, I mean, it just perks the energy up.
Really? Oh, so when that's on TV, that's actually live.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that no pressure.
Right. Right. So it's it makes it that much more fabulous. Well, it brings up the energy in this, the performance, and backstage, and when the people are getting ready, and you can feel it. You can just feel the buzz in the air. When they're rehearsing, you see them there. Everybody's concentrating and going over their steps, and yeah, pretty cool.
I think that's amazing. I mean, Fox, they have a whole slew of reality shows. And way back when the network was young, they really didn't have much, and they built up. Simpsons and Married with Children and all the other projects they've done. They have become a serious powerhouse. People used to make fun of the network, like a CBS or ABC or NBC. They used to make fun of Fox.
Right.
But who's laughing now?
Yeah, right.
Right. They have a lot of hit shows and everything. Have you ever worked on American Idol, perchance?
I did. I did back actually when I was still assisting photographers. I used to assist a photographer named Ray Mickshaw, who at the time was shooting that show. And so we did some touring about it. We went around the country and shot some of those contestants. Yeah, and that was a good time.
Yeah, no, that's I can just imagine that energy, because we were talking about energy. That energy there, because you're talking about a stadium filled with people. Like, my God.
Right. Yeah.
That's incredible stuff. Now, Kelsey, can you give us an idea? Maybe it's going to be an unfair question to you, but I have to ask you. What would you consider one of your greatest moments to date in photography? I knew I was going to stump you. I knew it.
Yeah. One of my greatest moments to date in photography, man. There's been so many great moments.
Well, I know you've done some shoots, everything from sand dunes to these massive car pileups in LA and stuff. You've done a lot of stuff that's just like those moments in history. Like,
yeah, let's take a walk and we'll talk about a few of them and see. So there's been one of the things that really stands out was an opportunity to shoot in South Africa. That was another 24 event. That was a prequel for 24. And that was great. I mean, we used a lot of local cast down there, which was surprisingly good. I mean, like, seriously, world-class talent in South Africa. One of the things that really sticks out most to me in South Africa are, of course, the smile of the kids. It was beautiful. I mean, I could still feel the gleam, the big white teeth from them. And just the look of it there. The sunlight was beautiful. It was like it was a warmth. It was like syrupy. It was beautiful. It was, my hotel room, I could see the sun rise and I could see the sun set, over the water, because we're right there on the bay or whatever it is, right there on the water. That was beautiful. There was shooting in a nuclear submarine, which was very interesting. That was a challenge. That was mostly interesting to see the conditions under which under which the people live and work. Right. I mean, talking about confined. Even in their first of all, some of their bunks, where we were in a torpedo room, and some of the bunks are literally right next to the torpedoes. It's like, the torpedo is the wall on the back side of their bunk. So they're actually touching the torpedo. The bunks are like, I don't know, I can't tell you the exact dimensions, but they are, maybe 2 or 3 feet wide is the base, and you don't even have room to turn over. Like, you can't turn onto your side and sleep. You can't roll from your back to your front, because there's not enough room up and down, from the top and bottom of your bunk to be able to do that. So that's how these, yeah. I
guess anyone heavy's not going on that.
No. So just to see how confined these spaces are, it was like when we realized that we were going to shoot in a nuclear submarine. Like, first it was like, awesome, like, we're going to go see the inside of a nuclear submarine and all this stuff, and then you're in there, and like 15 minutes later you're like, get me out of here,
You're getting claustrophobic.
Yeah, you get claustrophobic, and plus we're down there with 100 crew members and equipment, and everybody's trying to walk around and be quiet on the metal floors while we're rolling, and none of us are sailors, so we don't really know how to behave down there and aren't used to it. So, excuse me. And so it was quite difficult, but that was hard. The massive car pileup we were working on, it was on a pilot, as a matter of fact, and had staged this huge, probably 30 car, accident on a freeway. We shut down a freeway one night here in LA. I think it was a 710 or something like that. Shut down the whole freeway.
Better than the 101.
I know. Yeah, we would have had a real car pile up.
Yeah, no, for real. I mean, there's usually one there anyway, no?
Yeah, right. But that was amazing to shoot that. You know, there's a project that I'm working on where I went last year. I went to Texas, and I shot a bunch of cowboys. There's an organization down there in Texas that they still do these trail rides, like the historical trail rides that people took, the actual trails and the path that people took when they were settling, you know, the land. And so they will still follow these paths every year. And so I went out there and did that, and that was a great experience. A lot of really old time cowboys, some guys who were even God, I want to say that some were even kids when they did that, but I don't know if that could even be possible because that was so long ago. But that, you know, I mean, there were stories that were just passed down from generation to generation, that were still extremely accurate, unlike a lot of other stories that we have here. But that was a lot of fun too. You know, shooting my kids and my wife and kids I have so many pictures of them, and that's always.
I can imagine that you have.
That's always such a joy. I get quite a kick out of these characters here, my family.
That's your life. And then, that right there is your life, so it's easier for you to keep flicking, and you probably have like 100 gigs of pictures of them.
Yeah, that's actually more like 200 gigs.
Oh yeah, oh my God. You know, but I mean, because it's easy. It's easy for you to do that. At least, you know, because you're always looking for that something else. You know, kind of like Fred Flintstone when he was taking pictures of his daughter.
Uh-huh.
You know, he just kept taking pictures and pictures because he got that camera. You know, whether you're a photographer or not, you know, when it comes to your family, I guess if you love to even take pictures, you know, you're going to take a whole bunch. And you being a photographer, oof, yeah, every minute of the day. Turn around, click. You know, but yeah, go ahead.
There's been quite a few. You know, I've even had a chance to shoot the second lady. She came to set on 24, believe it or not, and that was interesting. Just being part of her entourage. It's like the Secret Service checked everybody out on the crew before she even came, and I was allowed to be within her entourage, like within the inner circle of the Secret Service, and to kind of travel around like that. And that was like, these guys don't play.
Oh no.
You know, you could physically sense the security that you had being around these guys. And even though they would smile at you, and they were very polite and very kind, but you could see that in their eyes, if they were going to do whatever it took, you know, to fulfill the requirements of their position.
You think so?
Yeah. And you just, I mean, there was something very special about that. That was really cool experience to be a part of that. I mean, there was one part when we have 2 stages on 24. And at one point we were going just from one stage to the next, and it wasn't, you know, they're big buildings, and it was, you know, maybe a half a block away, but it was the way that they ushered her outside into her car, and then the way that it all drove off. And it was like, the way that it happened, it was very rapid, and it was very orchestrated. Like you could tell the positioning of all the Secret Service and the men were in places, were in strategic points to protect her, to get her into her car rapidly, and to be in the right place in case any event did happen.
Like 24-ish.
What's that?
It's 24-ish.
Yeah, it was very 24-ish. It was very 24-ish. But it was really cool to see it all up close, and to see the presidential vehicles, just how fortified they are and everything. That was pretty cool.
Well, see, those experiences that you've gotten throughout your career to date, you know, these are things that stick with you and will stick with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know, and this is stuff you pass down to your kids,
Right.
when they get old enough to retain it. You know, but and you know, these are just those things, and I think it's very interesting. You know, but Kelsey, you've been involved in photography pretty much your whole life. You know, you've done some great things, some amazing things, and the one thing that I always say about, and again, I'm just going to use the word. You know, I know you don't want to think this, but when you take a great photographer, and you know, sometimes there's a natural progression because you have that eye, you have that something different that other people can't see. Like you can go and actually look at a person, okay, and you're taking a shot. You can picture everything and what needs to get done, and you can kind of lock down the talent, or they'll bring the right stuff out of a person and actually get the right person for the gig. So, you know, to me, it's always a natural progression when a great photographer steps up to going into motion pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah, you know, because you have that eye, and a director has that eye.
Right. Yeah, I am so excited about this, the opportunity to direct Pure, which is a project that we're in pre-production on right now.
What's Pure about? Let's explore that for a little bit.
Well, okay, Pure is a project. It's you know, we're being produced in association with Cassandra Films and Deal Muse. And what it's going to be a wicked action film. You know, the action part really is the brainchild of my wife, who, you know, has spent many years working as an actress and doing stunts. I mean, believe it or not, this girl, she's quite the stunt woman.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt that she has 21 gold medals to her name. So.
Right. Yeah. So she's. I know, right? So she's so you know, she knows that in and out, and she's, you know, she's more. What's really amazing about her is that she's more than just a stunt woman or a performer. She truly understands what it is that makes it interesting and what makes it realistic. You know, I'm sure that when we get to shooting a lot of the stunt scenes, that she's going to be on set. And I'm probably going to defer to her. I mean, quite honestly, or let her really champion that part of it, because I don't think that I would, you know, with all the experience that she has and all the knowledge that she has, you know, she's definitely got quite a few legs up. No pun. No pun intended, because I like those way up. Yeah. You know, she's known for her kicks too. So, but you know, there's no doubt that is going to be a very spectacular part of the film. One of the main purposes, however, of the film is to bring awareness to, you know, the child trafficking and child slavery that's happening across the world. We want to really bring, you know, awareness to this issue. I mean, this tragic issue in, you know, we want to bring it out to the public, to the large mass of the public, so they can really see
to the mainstream, so that they can see what's going on. Because, you know, child trafficking, you know, a lot. I mean, that's like taboo. No one wants to talk about it.
Mm-mm.
You know, but it happens.
Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to believe that it's still happening.
Yeah, but it does every day, whether it be from South America or whether it be from Russia, Czechoslovakia, somewhere in Europe, somewhere in Africa,
right here in the U.S. in our own, you know, own backyard. I mean, if it's not happening here yet, it's gonna start happening here.
Well, I mean, look at all the kidnappings. I mean, what do they do? You know, how often do you hear about a young girl, blonde, blue eyes, disappearing in this country?
Right.
Where does she go?
All the time.
Yeah, but you have
started with the milk cartons, remember?
Yeah. Yep.
I might be dating myself again, but you know, I remember back in the day when there was no shortage of kids to put on milk cartons.
Yep. And that was
that campaign went on for years. Remember?
Yeah, and then that until they started using different containers, and then they kind of like stopped it. I remember those containers but it was kind of sad because you see them, it's like, wow, at least it's out there. But now they have the Amber Alerts and everything, which is fantastic.
Which has been a huge help. I think the Amber Alert's probably been one of the more successful things, is because it's just what you're doing then is you're getting the public to help. You're broadcasting the information of the vehicle that you're looking for and what the kid looks like. And if this kid is on any road, and I guess the Amber Alert works with the advent of the cell phone now too.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a cell phone, and if you see this vehicle, you can pick up your cell phone and dial 911.
Yeah, and they have, I think, because they're across all social networks. They're digital, and they actually do a tremendous job.
Right.
And I think that's fantastic that they have that. But again, it's great to have something when someone gets lost. What about preventing it in the first place?
Right. Exactly.
And that's what you're talking
so that's
about.
what we kind of want to do, is bring awareness to to the world impact that this is having. Help some of these kids. And so part of it is to bring awareness to it. The other part is to actually save the kids. The proceeds of the film will go to saving these kids. There's a few trains of thought to think about this, but what we're going to do is we can actually, with the money that we make, and it doesn't cost much, we can actually go to the child smugglers and buy the kids back from them. And you can buy these kids back for, $20, $30, $40. I mean, ridiculously, that's what these child lives are valued at for the smugglers. At max $40, you can buy a kid back out of slavery.
You know what's funny, Kelsey? Just before I lose the thought that I just had, I was watching TV the other day. Sometimes I have time to do it, and I was watching Law and Order Special Victims Unit, and they had this episode. They had these guys that were pedophiles. They would go to other countries, get these little kids, and bring them back. That's still in that realm of trafficking,
right?
So right. I think I think what you're doing is noble and it's fantastic, but buying the kids back is great, but then what do you do with them?
Well, you buy them back, and they go. There's actually organizations that we already have connection with and that are already in place, like orphanages, that will take the kids back and will give them a healthy upbringing. Or if the kid, and here's part of the problem: if the kid has been kidnapped, we can return the kid back to their home, where they can be reintegrated, and of course, probably have to go through some therapy and some counseling, but can live a relatively normal life back with their family. Now, in some instances, the kids have actually been sold by their family, and in those, it's kind of more on a case by case basis. It's probably the kid's probably not going to go back to the family, will live in an orphanage. But there are definitely safe. We have definitely safe places for the kids to return to. So that's not too much of a problem. But that's also a place where a lot of the donations will go, because if anybody knows it, it's not necessarily expensive, but it's not cheap to raise kids.
No, of course, but you have so many people, just in this country, you have so many people, whether, and again, the sexual orientation doesn't matter, but, you do have gay couples that are looking to adopt. You have straight couples that are looking to adopt. You have single people that are looking to adopt, because
right.
you have some couples that cannot have kids that are looking to adopt.
Right.
You have Madonna, she's looking to adopt. So you have no shortage of people that that are looking to adopt children, and I think that what you're doing is noble, and I think grabbing all these kids and doing that and buying them back, it's a great undertaking, but we as a society, what choice do we have?
Right. And one thing I did want to touch on too about, because there's different trains of thoughts about buying them back, because it almost sounds like we're in a little bit enabling the kidnappers. Right. and I will agree with that. I'll say yes that we are in that, but personally, I don't see any other way to effectively immediately save these kids without. I think the only other way to do it would be to go, through the political channel. And unfortunately, in a lot of these countries where this is happening,
corruption,
the politics are corrupt.
Corruption,
the law enforcement corrupt.
Yeah,
they're the ones that are actually, kidnapping these kids. They're the ones that are actually committing the crimes against these kids, the sexual crimes against these kids. So we don't have any help from them. So I kind of feel like this is one of the only ways, that we can save these kids, and it's, especially now. I'm sure there are things that are happening politically. I am not involved in that. But I'm sure there are things happening politically. But I think that, unfortunately, I think that's a long road to travel.
I mean, if you look at politics, I don't care what country you're in, whether you be in Africa, whether you be in Europe, politics is just that. You have a lot of bureaucratic stuff that happens. It takes a long time for things to get passed. The only time that really things get passed really quickly, and again, you have a lot of corruption, is when you're dealing in a communist society like China, but then again, they're flawed across the board,
Right.
So by the time you wait for political action to take place, you may have another, 2, 3, 4, maybe 10,000 kids that suffer.
Exactly.
So your choices, again, what you guys are doing, and what's the organization that you're aligned with?
Let me look that up so I get the name right for you.
Yeah.
You mean where the kids are? Where this one of the safe havens for the kids?
Well, not the safe havens, but you have. I know there's an organization that is involved in this, as far as preventing or stopping child trafficking.
Yeah, there's one that's called Hands to a Hurting World, and it's one of Lana Vasquez's ministries, and that's she's actually been a great source of information, and she's one of our contacts that helps us find the kids, and she's actually one of the people who will go and that we give the money to, and she will go and actually purchase the kids back and rescue the kids. And she has orphanages where she takes them to safe places where she can care for the kids.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing that in this world of ours that this is actually happening. And it's not, I think that us, as, being American citizens, or even in Europe, being, people that are, European citizens, that you take for granted what you have. And we talked about that earlier, because you take for granted that you have safety.
Right.
But, when your kid goes out, it's a horrible thought that, that your kid goes out, you're like, is my kid coming back?
Could you imagine that?
No, I actually don't want to imagine that. That's a horrible thought. That's why with kids, for me personally, I'm very overprotective when it comes to kids.
Yeah.
I become like the Secret Service. I'm like, because you never know what can happen. You never know.
Yeah.
You never want your kids to actually have that fear in their heart that there's something that happened to them. But you just need to protect them as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe what you're doing, hopefully, will help to subside this child trafficking. But at least while all this stuff is happening, whatever political agendas are occurring, at least you're actually saving the kids.
Yeah, we're doing what we can. If you save one life, I think that you've done great work. But there's a lot of lives we want to save. All of them.
Well, you know what? You got my vote. So anything that we can do to help with that whole journey, we're in.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna We're gonna put out an awesome film. Bring some awareness to it. We get everybody to go and see it, and they can go and watch it and be entertained and see some mind blowing action and and also know that their entertainment, the cost of their entertainment is actually helping to save some lives.
Yeah. Well, if you said for $20, $30, $40, you can buy back one of these kids. So two people going to the theater to go watch the movie, you're buying back a kid.
Yeah.
So we're gonna, you're gonna do your work in making the film, and we're gonna help you do whatever we need to do on our end to generate that revenue through that film to make things happen. Because again, I think what you're doing is great. What you and your wife are doing is fantastic, and I know she's told me about that in the past, but we really didn't get in depth with it, because she knows I'm all about the kids. So I'm glad that on this show that we're able to talk about it, so other people can actually hear this, and maybe this will impact them. Now, is there a website for Pure that you guys developed that yet?
I think it's still being developed at the moment. And I don't even know what the URL would be at this moment.
Okay, but don't worry about it, because when it does come out, we'll wind up putting it on the UCW radio website, and that way people can see what's going on. And then we'll also include it in the UCW magazine and put it out there to let people know. Now, Kelsey, I know you have a long schedule today. I don't want to keep you too long, but this show, you coming on the show has been amazing. I got a greater insight, and I'm sure all our listeners got a greater insight into who Kelsey McNeal is, what you've done, and what you're doing on the good side. Because too many times people look at Hollywood and they say, wow, Hollywood is all about money, greed, this, that. But something, you're actually doing something different, because you're using Hollywood to do something good.
Yeah.
And again, just to touch on this, what I mean by greed and everything in Hollywood has nothing to do. You have a lot of good people in Hollywood that are doing great things, but I'm talking about when you put out a movie, when you're doing that type of thing, it's always money driven. You have corporate America, big corporations that run these studios, whether it be Warner Brothers, whatever it may be, and it's all money driven, because now you're a public company, so you have to show profits to your shareholders. But what you're doing is actually putting this together because you want to go help to do something good.
Yeah, we're in fact, what's kind of a tradition in filmmaking is that certain key people who are related to a project will make residuals on a project. So every time that somebody goes and pays to watch it or rent it or whatever, a portion of that payment would go to select individuals who are part of the production of the project. Being the producers and the actors and such like that. Well, and the director. Excuse me. But what we're doing is we're all we're all turning down those proceeds for ourselves and putting it back into the kids and helping the kids.
Excellent.
So that more money can actually go to helping them.
So you're foregoing all the residuals for all eternity, so you can keep helping these kids. I think that's great. I think everyone that's associated with Pure is doing something great. And honestly, Kelsey, we're going to be speaking about Pure more and more as things develop. So now you have it in my mind. So now I am going to be speaking about it and talking about it, getting the information out there, because I think that people should support this project. And when the movie comes out, go see it. Pay to go see it. You're doing a great thing. You're helping kids out. This is what I want our listeners to absorb. And we will put the information out there. We will get stuff out on Pure and the organization that you're affiliated with and everything else. Now, Kelsey, before I let you go, because I know you have a meeting. I know you have a meeting. Like we could. And I know, because your wife will flip out on me. So I'm going to, kind of let you go at this point. Because we can talk all day about all this stuff, and actually what I want to do is bring you on at some point in the near future when things start moving forward with Pure, so that we can talk about it a little more and get your wife on and really get into it and do a whole segment around it, because you have a friend in me and in the UCW radio show and the magazine, and we're going to do what we can to help you. But in the meanwhile, for all the listeners that want to know a little bit more about you, can you tell them what your website is so they can find out, you look at your work and find out more about you?
Yeah, my website, well, I think I have a little bit of work up right now, but I've been rebuilding my site for probably the last year. I don't know. Sometimes it takes a while.
Typical photographer.
Yeah. It's only partially my issue. I'm kind of waiting on my builder to put it up, but well, I probably shouldn't say that, because I don't even necessarily. It's so hard to pick. I got 100,000 images to go through to try to narrow it down to 60 images to put on a site, and that's been a challenge.
I can see that being a big challenge.
Yeah, it's huge. So, but I'm getting there. But my website will be my name. It's www.Kelsey McNeal, Kelsey. McNeal is McNeal. So there's an A instead of the I, which is a little more common. .com. So again, it's not launched yet. Hopefully it'll be launched here in the next, I'd love to say next couple of weeks, but it's probably going to be another couple of months to be realistic.
Well, whenever it gets launched, people can go on there. They can see your work, find out more about you.
Yeah.
And they'll adhere to you, no doubt about it. So Kelsey, I want to thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on the show today. And again, I want to wish you the best of luck with Pure. I want you and your wife to go and knock this one out of the park. We're there with you in spirit, and we're there with you if we can do anything in the meanwhile to help the project move forward.
Right, I appreciate that. Yeah, we're all looking forward to this, and it's going to be a great project.
I know it sounds like it's going to be fantastic. And I actually, before I do cut you off right now, Kelsey, I just need to ask you one question. Now, is this going to be? I'm assuming this is going to be in theaters, right?
Yeah. It's going to have a theatrical release.
Okay, stupid question, but I have to ask stupid questions sometimes.
Yeah, it's true. No, it's absolutely. I mean, in this day and age, you can do a lot of good movies that are on YouTube or just online, or going straight to video. And you can hit a wide audience in those avenues too. And there might be portions of that'll happen. Portions of the film might be on YouTube later on, or we might use other avenues. But initially, it's going to have a theatrical release.
I think it's going to be amazing. I'm sure a lot of stars are going to come out, and we're going to do what we have to do to make everybody aware of it. Again, Kelsey, great having you on the show, and we look forward to having you back.
Awesome. I look forward to coming back too, and thank you, Lou. It's been a good time, and I'm happy to put the word out on some of the projects that we have going on. So I appreciate that platform.
No problem. You got it, Kelsey. Thank you.
Initiating shutdown sequence.
What is your major malfunction?
So let it be written. So let it be done.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you.